Hello there, fellow Whovians. My name is Tom from the channel Ultimate Spy 53, and today I'm going to launch a new Doctor Who related podcast I like to call Whocast. Now, this will be a one-person podcast with me in my British accent because Doctor Who. I even use this particular accent for my Doctor Who reviews. So welcome to the first episode of Whocast. I'm going to make them as short as I can, maybe 10 minutes or more of Doctor Who news, speculations and reviews of each episode of Series 10. I'm not going to call it Season 10, as there was a Season 10 back in the Third Doctor's era during the 70s. So I've got to talk about Episode 1, which was called The Pilot. Now, this was a very fun episode. I really liked it. The new companion, Bill Potts, as played by Pearl Mackie, is very interesting and very different from past companions that the Doctor has trouble with. It's most interesting that the episode starts out with not the Doctor himself, but with Bill, the new companion. It was very interesting. The fact that Nardole was actually in this episode. I mean, we all know that Nardole is like obviously a new companion, but like, because first time we met Nardole, he was in the 2015 Christmas special, The Husbands of River Song, and then he came back in the 2016 Christmas special, the 10th Doctor Serial, and now he's a full-on companion. I feel like he has more, character than most companions, and he's actually, I feel like he knows more about what he's doing. He knows about more of the TARDIS, how everything works. He even gets a screwdriver. That's part of the episode that I was overjoyed to see when we first see Bill sitting down in that chair, and then we have this what looks like a cup or something with screwdrivers, mostly from the from these classic era. We got like the 4s, 3s, 8s, 7s. I think all the classic screwdrivers from the Third Doctor and on up until the 8th. Because after that it was a different screwdriver, but it was really cool to see that because it's like a little nod to those classic era stuff. It was also really cool to see a picture of River Song and Susan Foreman, who was the First Doctor's companion or granddaughter. So it was really cool homage to that classic era and also recent era stuff. But overall, it was really fun to see that kind of I like how in recent episodes, recent series, we get more callback to classic era. Now, one thing I was, interested to see was the fact that the Doctor, in his classic, well, not classic, but more like Series 9 costume, kind of, or at least a version of it, and I didn't like Series 9 at all. I mean, there was some good things about it. I'll put the link in the description for, my Series 9 review, so you can, see what I'm talking about. But, honestly, it was, I don't know why he does this himself. It's just the costume is weird, and I think that I only saw it once the entire episode, but the sonic specs were briefly there. I don't even know if he used them because later on in the episode we see him with the screwdriver, and it's so cool to see him actually use it. Now, as for the actual episode itself, the villain, it felt like a kind of Water of Mars type of villain. With the water and everything, because there's this girl named Heather who appears in the episode, and like it's the idea of this puddle that's not really there, and it's a really strange episode. The fact that was a part of it, it was actually a really cool it was a really cool thing to see. Just overall, the fact that the villain was unique in its own way. It was very Water of Mars-ish, because if you remember the episode, he used the water, the kind of drizzling. It was just really cool. The reason why it's really cool is because during the show, we see the Heather character like dump down and like materialize. It's just like, oh my god. And then the Dalek was really cool to see that. Of course we have the Dalek, of course, because the two doesn't like the Dalek. But in terms of the TARDIS itself, that was really fun to see the TARDIS. And Nardole, I feel like he's changed. He's a very different person. You see a little more of Bill's life. I feel like she's the most unique companion by far. She's very unique, very special. I mean, yeah, past companions have been great too, but this one has been very interesting, and I like it. I like the fact that she's this way. And so it was really fun to see, you know, the Doctor be its professor, because that's not really what we see from the 12th Doctor, as professor, and knowing all this stuff, asking about the lectures and stuff, and then the funny little jokes inserted in the episode with how did the TARDIS get into the room, and then he's like, oh, it's the crane, which was really funny. But yeah, it was just a fun episode to watch, and the fact that Bill was wrecked into the TARDIS like every other companion wrecked into the TARDIS, with it's big on the inside of the outside, but it's like it's a box within a box, and then Nado explained that. It was really fun to see that. But also it was interesting to see the Doctor. Well, it was really weird to see the Doctor change outfits again, which is a character that he has been adapting, of changing outfits throughout series 9, and now series 10 we have where he's been changing outfits. And I think he wore a blue it looks like a blue lined jacket with a white shirt, which is the same kind of idea as the series 9 thing, but it was different. It's still different, and it's also and then later on in the episode we see him in his red velvet jacket from series 9, which is just, it's the one thing I don't like about this particular Doctor, is because he does this weird thing with the costume. It's just so weird. But we also see the locations going, trying to figure out this monster. We don't even know what the monster was. Just this water monster, kind of like the Waters of Mars character. And it was really fun to see Nardole more in action. He's just kind of, he's there, but he's also, he's a funny character, and he gets the sonic screwdriver. At least one of I think the 4th Doctor's screwdriver, because if you see the tip on the thing is a screwdriver, and of course you can't have Doctor without Dalek, so that was really fun to see that. But yeah, Bill she's really interesting. I'm really interested to learn more about her, because all we know is that she lives in this apartment with this lady who I don't even know who she is. And we get to see this scene where she's seeing someone, or she's hearing someone in a bathroom, and it turns out to be this, well, what we suppose to be is Heather, who's just really creepy because they have the star in her eye, and it's just, wow, it's like a really mysterious idea for it. And it was really fun to see that, and I was really intrigued by it. And the TARDIS itself is the fact that they're going around places. They go to this 23 million years in the future with this planet that's really like post-apocalyptic. It's really amazing. But yeah, so that's what I thought of it. The episode itself was fantastic. Now I know that I should be giving too much away, but overall I thought it was a brilliant episode. It was very, the title cut, that actually I noticed that the title, the opening title sequence at the very end, it's very different, because the name of the episode actually kind of phases in. It's really interesting. And the whole thing with the Doctor, he's been very different, because his clothes change a lot, of course, when they go to places like Australia, and it's a really interesting thing. We know that the Bill has, that she makes, chips and all that stuff, but that's all we know. We know that she makes chips, and the Doctor's like a professor, and it was really cool the fact that he spelled that TARDIS with that. And actually, I feel like it's a repetitive thing where the Doctor will tell his companion like what the TARDIS stands for. And of course, I feel like it hasn't really happened with the 12th Doctor yet. But yeah, I thought it was brilliant. And the fact that it's called the pilot. I mean, I still didn't really understand what that meant by the pilot. I thought it was really creepy how the Heather character because you became this water monster, and you like popped out in the quote pool. So I thought it was really fun to see that happen. So I guess that's the end of the review. So as for the speculation, now there's been a bit of a leak on the interwebs with the new Doctor. Now, according to Peter Capaldi, who plays the 12th Doctor, he's stepping down as the 12th Doctor, and in the Series 10 trailer, there was like a 2-second montage where we see the 12th Doctor's hand such a glow, which could indicate regeneration. But as far as we know, the Kris special is when he's supposed to be bowing out. But apparently, the information of that is now updated, and now he apparently posted about at the end of Series 10, which is expected to end to last until July, which is very interesting. And apparently Peter Capaldi has already filmed his regeneration scene, which is very interesting too. But also the idea that they've already cast the 13th Doctor, which is really strange, because the BBC America website hasn't even said anything about you know, a cast, and apparently it's been quote confirmed that Kris Marshall, who I don't even know anything about, apparently is been cast as 13, which doesn't really make sense because the BBC website would have told me anything like that. Now this could be like complete bonkers. It couldn't even be true. It might not even be true, but I want to say it's plausible. He looks like he looks like a doctor. He looks like he could play the Doctor. I mean, people say that a lot, but it just feels like he could be the Doctor. And the fact that people are saying he's ginger hair, more of it like he's brown. I haven't seen him in anything at all. This is the first I've heard of him. But Kris Marshall as the 13th Doctor, it could happen. If the rumor is true, which it would be really interesting to be true. I would be interested to see that. I mean, this is all speculation. It probably won't be true at all, but it would be really interesting to see if that would happen. Because my other choice was Ed Redmayne from the Fantastic Beasts franchise. In the first Fantastic Beasts, he was brilliant in that one, and I was thinking he could be the 13th Doctor. But then, you know, of course, the idea that he's signed on for Fantastic Beasts is going to do that franchise, that couldn't happen. And then there's Kris Marshall, which I hadn't even thought about. You know, I looked at him and then I saw the news that he's been cast, and I don't know. I mean, take this with a grain of salt. It might not even be true. I mean, BBC website hasn't even officially confirmed it. Apparently, on the same article, a BBC spokesperson said that the casting hasn't been done yet for Series 11. So it's very interesting how that could add up. But overall, I love the episode, and the idea of having a regeneration during this episode, or during the series, at the end of the series, would be very interesting. I mean, it's happened before. We had a regeneration at the end of the series. It's happened before with the 9th Doctor, because the 9th Doctor had a regeneration at the end of Series 1, and then, you know, David Tennant didn't even appear as the 10th Doctor until the following episode. Well, he appeared in the Children Read It special, but he didn't appear fully until the Christmas special. So I wonder if it could be follow the same fashion as that, because I feel like it could. I mean, it's highly it's plausible. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm not sure. I mean, because we heard that Series 10 will be his last, of course, and then we knew that he would bow at the end of Kris special, but apparently that's been proven false. I mean, the only problem with this incarnation is that he's only been doing the Doctor for 3 years, sort of. He had made a cameo appearance for like 20 seconds at the end of Time of the Doctor, and then he went on for Series 8 in 2014, Series 9 in 2015, and then he skipped the whole year because of Sherlock. And then he came back, and then he's come back this year for this series. I mean, it's just kind of annoying how they do that, how, you know, things like that work. But honestly, I'm interested to see what's going on with with the casting, because what I've seen, I mean, Kris Marshall, I don't even know the guy. I never even heard of this guy. But he looks possible. Now, it's a rumor. The whole casting is a rumor. No, don't believe. It might not even be true. I won't believe it until it's proven true. I mean, I think it'd be a cool idea to see that happen, but I don't know. I have no idea because nothing's been confirmed. But I'd be up for it. He looks like he could be a 13th Doctor. But yeah. So overall, I'm really excited for this episode. I'm really excited about this new series. The Pelmaki as Bill Pulse was really great. She did a great, wonderful performance. Nardole was fantastic as always. He's always fun to. He's always the comic relief. He always feels like he's the comic relief, and he's just like always funny. He knows. I feel like he knows more about tech and space and time, all that stuff, more than any companion ever. And the fact that he actually knows that he used a screwdriver, and is overall really fun to have that. And feels like I feel like the Doctor doesn't know him as well. But I feel like they work better. I feel like he's an assistant and everything like that. And I feel like I love the fact that the Doctor uses his screwdriver now. I think one thing I didn't like about Series 9 was the fact that the specs, the sonic specs, would just ruined it. And the fact that he has a screwdriver now again, it makes it a whole lot better. And the fact that the TARDIS is very funny. It's very funny how the comedy was used in this episode. That's why I like Doctor Who so much. So yeah. Anyway, I think that'll do it for this episode. I think I've been going on long enough here. I want to make this pretty short here, so I don't go on too long. I don't want to be like the Madhouse where it goes for an hour. But yeah, let me know if you like this episode. I'm not even sure if it's gonna be weekly. I'll just do it as often as I can. Whenever I see any Doctor Who news, I'll be sure to have a podcast on it. But I imagine it might be at least weekly, based off of the Doctor Who shows, the Doctor Who episodes. But you never know. I think it'll be fun. But let me know what you thought of this first episode of Whocast. Let me know in the comments what you thought of it and what you thought of the episode. And make sure to like this podcast, and subscribe to my channel as always. And I will hopefully be back next time for the next Whocast episode. Alright, bye.